Martin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I don't know whether you can hear me in the room. Thank you.
Yeah, we can definitely hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Sam, and of course, for chairing this wonderful session. The panelists, whom I know very well, Christopher, Professor, and the Colonel. Mine is just to give a perspective, but at the same time also to ask the panelists whether that perspective is valid in looking at it. We've been working tirelessly within the AU and GFCE project on assessing the needs of each of the 55 countries in Africa, but at the same time looking at where we can be able to improve the gaps that we've identified. And one of the areas that we've seen is the issue around the UN open-ended working group process and how countries can be able to be involved in that process when it comes to issues cyber diplomacy and also issues on cyber norms. So the question really would be, would that particular requirement be a metric that could be measured within the CMM structure, and what the panel thinks of this particular issue? Because that's one gap that we've identified within the study that we've had in the last 2 years within the continent. The other aspect is also the issue around building the South-to-South capacity, because as you mentioned, we do need experts who understand CMM. We need experts who can be able to help countries to forge ahead with the CMM. And what we are seeing increasingly is how we can get some certification of these assessors. So the question really would be, have we reached a point where we can have a certification process of the assessors so that they can conduct this process, whether in Brazil, whether in Japan, whether in the Pacific, or anywhere within the world, so that we can be able to get CMM more popular, especially in the Arab countries, as mentioned in the room. And then finally, it is the issue around the way we need to progress the ways the assessments are done. Here we have countries that have gone either in the second assessment, some of them are planning for the third, but I think right now I think Malawi is one of the countries that has had actually 2 assessments so far. And the question is, when you conduct these assessments, then that means you are trying to review your posture for the last 4 years. There is also the issue around taking the impact of that particular process. Now, the question that I want to ask the panel is whether we should be able to include impact assessment as part of our assessment continuously, because when you come to the 4-year review period, you would want to see what was the impact of the cybersecurity implementation process that you had previously. And I'll give you an example. In Uganda, for example, in 2014, I was involved with the first CMM assessment in the country. And when we did an assessment 4 years later, it was possible to see that the implementation of some of the laws has actually improved prosecution of people with digital, let's say, misdemeanors and so forth. So therefore, impact assessment is a very important measure, and therefore the question to the room, and I know Professor, we've discussed this before, is where that can be done. But thank you again for this particular opportunity, and I also want to thank the panel and also for Sam for your very good chairmanship. Thank you. Bye.